For the 2001 model year, Toyota introduced their hybrid Synergy drive to the American market in the form of what's now referred to as a Generation 1 Prius. Undeniably cute. It's pretty much standard sedan styling wise. A small car for what it cost. It had a premium price because of its high-tech drivetrain. But you see it has a standard trunk lid. Nothing particularly special, except for the fact that it is very cute, and it gained a real following for both the Prius brand and the hybrid technology when it was introduced. We strongly recommend staying away from these cars. There are a ton of them on the market cheap, but they're extremely difficult to maintain. They have the same basic drivetrain as the Prius that's on the road today, the new Prius, but the batteries in these cars had some flaws with them that caused them to be very problematic and difficult, if not impossible, to repair and make reliable. So therefore, we recommend staying away from them and going with the later Generation 2 or Generation 3 Prius. This is the dashboard layout of the Generation 1 Prius. Pretty cut and dried. It's got a control stick sticking out of the dashboard for the gear shift lever. What would now be considered kind of rudimentary controls for the radio, but it has a fairly sophisticated automatic climate control, which was unusual in a car this size. It has electric windows, electric locks. A lot of things that you don't find in a standard small car like this. It uses a multi-function display that gives you a cartoon representation of what the drivetrain's doing. Again, unless you're prepared for a real adventure and investing some real money in the car, we recommend staying away from these as a used car investment. We're able to keep our little baby here going because we specialize in hybrid vehicles and we're specially equipped and trained to maintain them. This is the iconic body style introduced in the year 2004, instantly recognizable as a Prius. You either love it or you hate it. My wife refers to the shape as like a suppository, but she's kind of right. Nice aluminum spoked wheels, very durable. They generally stay in pretty good condition. Little spoiler on the back. A small piece of window below the spoiler, along with the hatchback glass. Gives you a pretty good view from the inside. A lot of people can't stand the view being interrupted by the spoiler here in the back. The spoilers have a problem with fading. The car is basically the same size as the previous generation, but one improvement that was made was the addition of this hatchback. This is an example of a 2004 Prius without any options, really. If you notice, the armrests here on the window are painted. And this was a problem as this paint would chip over time and start to look pretty ugly. Also, you can see it really shows fingerprints. This is a standard cloth interior, very, very durable. You very seldom see these interiors torn up. Sometimes this center armrest will lose its cover, but it can be glued back in place, and they clean up extremely well with an extractor and some soap. The steering wheel offers remote controls for the radio and the climate control. And the dashboard is painted with that same dull paint that chips over time, and where it really shows up is on the glove compartment doors and on the buttons that operate it. These were originally painted and the paint's just completely worn off of these. If you notice, this has 4 buttons on the multifunction display, which is the minimum lack of options for the car. We'll look at one here in a minute that has additional options installed. But it comes with a basic CD player, single disc CD player. The big Generation 1 shift lever has been replaced by a small joystick, a start button, and a park button. Windshield wiper controls, of course, and headlights and that sort of thing are on stalks, as well as the speed control, the cruise control. This also has a basic mirror. You'll see later that there's an optional photochromic mirror. We'll see in a later model car. Place to put your sunglasses, interior lighting. On this 2008, you can see that the armrest material has been replaced with a textured plastic that's just virtually indestructible. Don't have to worry about it chipping and getting handprints and that sort of thing all over it. This steering wheel has the remote controls for the options on this car. The same things as on the earlier car, except it also has hands-free telephone and controls for the navigation system. This is the photochromic mirror that I was talking about, and it has controls on it for opening your garage door. This multifunction display has additional buttons on it, 7 buttons in all, for controlling the navigation system, climate control. It's voice operated navigation. The little JBL insignia indicates this has the high-end sound system with a 6 CD player. Satellite button. I don't think this car is actually equipped with satellite, but it was an option for these cars. It also has an auxiliary input, so you can hook your cell phone up to it using a cable. Here you can see that textured finish on the dashboard. Why the cars have dual glove boxes, I have no idea, but a lot of storage space here. The car has the usual airbags plus side curtain airbags for both the passenger and the pilot. By turning the car into a hatchback, Toyota created a really spacious cargo space back here. You can store a lot of stuff in here. Tie down straps for baby seats. It's lighted. A spare tire and a toolkit are located under this carpet in a hatch back here. But the car is really transformed when you put the back seats down and makes a nice flat surface. You could put just big screen TV, whatever, back in here. Plenty of room to carry things home. The Generation 2 Prius comes with these funky plastic trim rings on the spoke wheels. They tend to break up, and most of the cars at a certain age don't have them anymore because they've broken and taken off by the owners. Not sure what purpose they served, really, unless it was an aerodynamic thing or a way to keep brake dust down. Not really sure. This is what the wheels look like without the plastic trim rings. Nice spoked wheels. They're clean. They look really good. In 2010, Toyota introduced the Generation 3 Prius. Changed cosmetically from the Generation 2. It now has a crease down the side. Slightly different wheel design. The front end has been changed. The nose droops a little bit more. They probably wouldn't like me saying that, but the crease down the side is the main thing that adds some character to the older style Prius design. The spoiler and split window are still there in the Generation 3 Prius. The interior has undergone some pretty dramatic changes, primarily the console in the center. There's storage space under the console, and the shifter has been moved to the center console as well. Navigation and other informational displays about the vehicle are still shown on this multifunction display. The steering wheel controls have changed a little bit. They've been reorganized into circles for the mode controls for the radio and the display temperature trip, and you have your hands-free telephone call buttons. One major change is that the Generation 3 incorporates 3 different driving modes. The Eco mode, which is pretty much normal for the Prius, and a pure electric vehicle mode, but you can't go very far in that mode. They also have a power mode if you want a little more pep than you're used to.